Hey, everybody, welcome to Hangin Sangin. I'm Kelly McCartney from the Bluegrass Situation. With me today in the writer's rooms at the Hutton, Amber Rubarth.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Amber. Glad you're here.
Very happy to be
Since
here.
we got snowed out in January.
I feel like we were trying to do this over and over again.
It's true. We have
finally
tried to book
real.
it a few times.
Yeah.
Actually. You're a very busy person, though.
I think it was mostly snow.
Well, it didn't snow once. The snow got booked to blame once.
50-50 then.
Okay, that's fair.
Weather and
That's
me.
fair. You have so many projects, but let's go way back, because I feel like you've been around a while and done a lot of things, and yet people still don't really know your story. Probably, does that seem fair?
Sure, yeah.
So, you grew up in California, and you went to chainsaw sculpting school, which still fascinates the heck out of me. And then you taught yourself guitar and got into music. How does any of that make sense? Explain it to me. Just like, how do you get into chainsaw sculpting as a craft?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it makes sense. I mean, it probably doesn't make sense. I think that's more of an answer.
Right.
But I've definitely gone toward what I feel interested in at any moment, more so than having an idea of what I want to do and then, taking the steps necessary to get there.
Gotcha.
I think I get excited by a lot of different realms of creativity.
Yeah.
And the first thing that excited me was chainsaw sculpture. So when I was 17, I saw a little poster on a tree that said chainsaw sculpture apprenticeship. And
That's crazy.
yeah, and I didn't have anything else I wanted to do, and I didn't know what I would study in college if I went, and so I just moved up there and did that for 4 years.
Wow. Was it what did you glean from that experience?
I really liked the one-on-one nature of everything. Like we learned I learned either from the master sculptor there himself, working on a project with him, or from one of the other journeyman apprentices.
Okay.
So it was like a live-in apprenticeship. So we all had a house that we lived in.
Wow.
Went there every day, 7 days a week, and you're doing one thing the whole time.
Wow.
And he did teach us also about, because everything was commission projects.
Okay.
So he taught us, how to work with the different clients and how to design something out. Yeah, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
But I think that's more my style than like lecture halls.
Yeah. So then, somewhere in the middle of that, you got into music and started doing that. Were there lessons that you took into the music career then?
Yeah, for sure. The biggest one is that he told me that I should be doing what I love the most. And he said that of any lesson that he'd learned, like in all his years of living and doing art, is that if you don't do what you love the most, then you're not going to like wake up early and stay up late and actually serve your purpose in the world. Yeah. And even if you're doing your second favorite thing, it's not going to like really drive you.
Yeah.
In that same way. And he felt like if you're not driven like to your maximum, that you're not going to actually serve your unique purpose.
It's like there's a Howard Thurman quote that's one of my favorites. It's like, do what makes you come alive, because that's what the world needs, is people who come alive. And that's it. Yeah. So then you get into music. You have a solo career, but you also have a group with Amy Speece and Emily Barker, Applewood Road. And then you also have the Paper Raincoat Project with Alex Wong. What did those various explorations do they feed different sorts of sides of your creativity? Do they, in different ways?
Yeah, the first real collaboration I felt like I had was with Alex Wong doing the Paper Raincoat, and we lived in this little apartment in Brooklyn together, and there were 3 of us that were roommates there, and the other person was Kevin Rice, who ended up being our drummer also. So, it was a lot of learning for me. It was a lot of excitement. Alex and I love writing songs with him because we're both very strong opinioned people. So we would literally like fight over which line was going to make it in a song, or like what was better. Like we both just care a lot about what the end product is. And I love writing with him because I think we approach it from a different view.
Right.
But we're both like pretty adamant about trying to find what the very best last word is for everything, or like the best melody or the best instrumentation or production for something. So I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from that collaboration. I loved it. It's always so different doing something with a group, and that's something that I'm finding more and more.
Yeah.
Is that like collaborations really teach you a lot. They're much more fun.
Yeah.
With Paper Raincoat, it was interesting because it's all based on this fictional story that he and I created, and it taught me. I don't know exactly how to say this, but it's like sometimes in fiction you can actually be more vulnerable because you're not like, this is mine.
Yeah.
So we're still working on that project, and now we've turned it.
You guys just did some recording up in the wilds of.
Yeah.
Where were you?
We were upstate
Rochester
New York, and by Buffalo.
Okay, Buffalo.
Angola, actually. But yeah, we just wrote a script, so we're actually gonna bring that story to life in theater, or
as the paper galoshes, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. You can claim that. But yeah, it was really telling just how vulnerable you can be in like creating characters and putting things out through that.
Yeah, because you can put a piece of yourself into it and still have something to hide behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that. And speaking of, then you were just in American Folk, a movie. Speaking of hiding behind a character, which, I mean, obviously it's not your story in any way, but would you have ventured into acting if the movie weren't about music? Like, how did you get in?
I got asked to do it. So Joe Purdy had already been cast as the lead actor for the male character.
Right.
And they had been looking for people for the female character, and the director, he wrote, directed, and edited it. It's David Hines.
Okay.
He's amazing. He had never written a screenplay before, never directed anything, and he was just like, I have this story I want to tell.
Right.
And he came across a video on YouTube of Joe and I singing together, and then I just got a call saying, do you want to try out for this? So...
And now you're in a movie.
Yeah, and I loved the whole experience. I definitely wouldn't have like gone to LA and tried to become an actor ever in my life. but I really, really enjoyed, especially just the collaborative nature of it.
Yeah. I mean, when something falls in your lap like that, why not? Like you said, just follow what you love.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it was everybody that worked on it was just, it was definitely inspiring to work with all of them. Yeah.
So sort of the moral of the Amber Rubarth story is that you're just sort of generally creative and artistic. Was that, I mean, I've seen you do lyric cards and all these beautiful little things, and was art and creativity and music, were those part of your formative years or in your family? Were you kind of always drawn to that stuff? Even as a kid?
I don't know. I don't know as a kid how much I was. I think I started the first time I really remember. Well, I guess I played piano a little bit as a kid.
Okay.
But the first time I really remember turning into it is that I was just terrible at communicating with people, and I felt safe my relationship with art or with like writing music or writing lyrics down, that felt like a safe ground for me. And I think I turned to that to like learn to open up more where I couldn't yet with other people.
Yeah. Were you a journaler as a youth?
Never really a journaler. But definitely just like a weirdo that would, get in a crazy mood and then just write a whole bunch of stuff or like compose something and then.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm a little less like systematic about.
Right. Okay.
Daily morning pages or whatever.
Yeah. Well, two of the characteristics that I always think about with your art are beauty and gentleness. And I remember, like, I don't even remember what it was that had happened one day, and I texted you, and I was just like, I'm listening to your record because it's all I can bear. Right? Something had gone on in the world that was horrible. I don't remember if it was one of the various shootings. It was something had happened. But can we talk about the importance of having those things in our lives, beauty and gentleness? Because I think as I get older now, and even just, I don't know, in the past year or so, wonder why, those things are really, really important to me. What do they mean to you?
Yeah, I totally agree with that they are important. I think I've become more, like the first thing when you say beauty and gentleness, I just think of nature. And I think especially right now when we're, all on our phones all day or on computers or everything is like so instantaneous and, there's like an aggressiveness of everything. I think it's more and more important to have that, doing things for the sake of beauty or having like a gentle approach of letting something unfold in a really organic way rather than saying like, I want to do this, and so this is the step to do this. I think as just the nature of the world right now and media and how we get information and how aggressive that information is, how chosen that information is, if like filtered to, be more dramatic or be more like it'll affect you in these 3 seconds, rather than a slow unfolding of something. I think it's more and more important to be.
And it's a conscious choice because I feel like the natural response or reaction to that aggression would be, to harden up.
Yeah.
So it feels like a conscious choice to soften instead. And I mean, I've just been experiencing it in a very tangible way over the past few months of settling into my house and painting things in, paint colors and bedding and art and all of those things have become really, really important to me because I find myself being drawn to softer things than I ever have in my life. And that's interesting. That's an interesting observation that perhaps it is in response to like this edginess and aggression that's going on in the world. I just thought I was getting old or something, but I like your explanation better.
Well, I think you're right though that as things get like the natural response of things are getting harder and harder is to toughen up. But again, just with nature, like you see that there's a natural balance that's created. And at a certain point, you can't just keep toughening up without vanishing. You can't
without breaking.
Without breaking. Exactly. Like the strength of, a wildflower versus the strength of like a steel rod.
Yeah. I think it's also about. I mean, there's creating beauty, intentionally surrounding yourself, but the other part of it is finding the beauty in things that others might dismiss, whether it's a conversation or a dream or a piece of wood, a graveyard, because your record is called Wildflowers in the Graveyard. Is that something that you're sort of constantly on that frequency of seeking out the beauty in in places that might not, otherwise be found?
I don't know consciously if I'm like trying to find those things, but I'm definitely drawn to them.
Yeah.
It's easy to get really wrapped up, and I definitely get wrapped up in just the busyness of things or the loudness of things. And for me, going into nature or like sitting quietly or playing piano for like a couple of hours and like losing myself in it, like little things like that are what keep me, I guess what you were saying, like attuned to that frequency. Because one of my friends is a tracker in South Africa, and he always talks about this with tracking, that like everything is speaking to you. And he talks about trackers, how you go down a path, and if you're not used to tracking, then you'll be like, oh, there's like a clearing over here, and there's some footprints. But then as you get more and more attuned to what tracking is, you'll be like, oh, there's a little bit of mud on this branch that an animal has like come by in the last 2 hours, or like there's a bird call that happens when the monkeys are out, or whatever. But it's like finer and finer tunings.
Right.
And yeah, I guess the quieter that you can find in life, for me, the more that you start seeing all these beautiful things that are there always.
Yeah, I like that. Well, how about some musical beauty for us? You want to do a little song? Which one you want to do first?
How about somebody asked for this song, so I'll do this one. It's called The Mystery of Light, and it kind of relates to what we were just talking about, too.
I did mention Dream for a reason.
Oh, look at you. Sneaky. This one is like, a lot of times in songs still, I try and find something out or get to something, and this one felt like it did. It came from a dream. It felt like it was just sort of, it wanted to just come out as an expression without me trying to figure it out.
You got to be impressed that I remembered that it came out.
That was impressive, yeah. I feel like you should get 10 points for that. I walked again this morning through the caverns in my mind, heard the echo of my father with his footsteps close behind, and I was standing in the water with my mother holding roses by her side. We stared right there before us at a triangle of light that reflected off the water, though we couldn't seem to find a single opening above or anywhere leading outside from which it came. And I feel this way every time I see your face, and every time I hear that echo sound. Like my heart is a chamber that I give away to the mystery of light held underground. I tried to be the one that was the sword inside the stone, but still it never fit me, like the marrow of my bones that was softer, more like poetry or moonlight hanging on an endless sky. The winds, they always blew me, though I tried to hold my ground. And you always knew me, even when you weren't around. In the silence of a memory, or darkness of a fire's parting light. And I feel this way every time I see your face, and every time I hear that echo sound. Like my heart is a chamber that I give away to the mystery of light held underground. feel this way every time I see your face, and every time I hear that echo sound. Like my heart is a chamber that I give away to the mystery of light held underground. Yeah, I feel this way every time I see your face, and every time I hear that echo sound. That my heart is a chamber I can give away to the mystery of light held underground.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Mystery of Light off Wildflowers in the Graveyard. Amber Rubarth. We are at the enlightening round, and you're not scared. Why would anybody be scared? Since you were in a movie called American Folk,
Okay.
I'm going to list folk singers, and you just just
no.
tell me something you love about them.
Okay.
Easy
Do I
breezy.
have some passes?
No, you just it's all. There's
Okay.
no right or wrong answer though.
Well, the thing is, this is the honest truth of it. Is
You don't actually know any folk music.
I know some.
Okay.
I'm late to music as a whole, as a listener, so there might be somebody obvious that everybody in the world except for me knows.
Yeah.
But I'll just be
Well,
transparent.
okay. All right, well, we'll see. Let's start with the original. Well, let's start with Pete Seeger.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Pete Seeger is one of the people in life that I feel like I'm most inspired by.
See?
I saw his the documentary on him called Power of Song. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it's incredible. It's so beautiful. And it doesn't tell just about his music, but it really shows what his life was as a whole. And the story I remember the most is that he had a daughter that they were living in the Hudson Valley, and the Hudson River at that time was like a toxic waste dump. So companies were legally allowed to put their toxic waste into the river to dump it. And he promised his daughter that she would be able to swim in there one day. And he started doing these free floating concerts up and down the river.
Yeah,
where he would sing
Clearwater
songs.
thing.
Yeah, Clearwater, where he would start singing songs about like cleaning your environment and taking care of things and like fighting back against the people that are, doing things that are ruining the planet. And would just go up and down the river, and you can actually swim in the river now.
Yeah.
And like hearing that story and recognize, and also just seeing the pushback that he had, getting blacklisted.
Yeah.
And,
Death threats.
death threats and like all of these things of, he was trying to bring people together and share very positive messages, and the pushback that he had on that, and still how much he was able to accomplish in bringing people together versus like how much freedom we have right now to say whatever we want. And, I think people are starting to say more, but in general, we're a lot quieter.
Yeah.
Me included.
Speak up.
So that's
Good.
Pete Seeger.
Yeah. Yeah, the Clearwater Festival is a fun hang.
I've never actually been there before.
Yeah, it's great. It's right on the river. It's beautiful.
I met him once. It was probably like 6 years ago or something up there.
Nice.
But he's
Okay, this one you're going to know. Richie Havens.
awesome. Richie Havens. Look at you. I feel like you're making it so that I'm good at this game.
I try.
Richie Havens, I got to open for him actually up in Beacon, which is over where the Clearwater thing is. And Adam Levy and I had been on tour, and we got asked to open for Richie Havens at this little, it was like a little opera house. And he just has the biggest hands in the universe. So his hands, Adam Levy and I actually were saying that we were going to make a Richie Havens capo that would just be a thumb. Because he plays in open tuning. So
that's right. Yeah.
Everything is just a strum with a thumb on it.
That's hilarious.
But he is, when we met him, like within 2 seconds, he was talking to us about aliens.
Nice.
And he's just so esoteric, he's just so out there and beautiful. And I feel like he was hovering the spirit realm.
He and Valerie June need to hang out if they haven't, because she's the same way. Yeah. That would be lovely. Okay, let's go Joni Mitchell.
Joni Mitchell. Okay, so Joni Mitchell, to be perfectly honest, is somebody I haven't totally dug into.
Interesting.
It seems like the obvious choice. I've tried a few times. You know, I've like listened to the albums, and for some reason, I find in life, for me at least, that certain things resonate at a time or don't, and it doesn't mean that it's not going to resonate later.
Yeah.
But I haven't
You
fully
haven't had your Joni moment yet.
The closest I've had is actually hearing she redid Blue as like much later in life, and her voice is like this dark, almost like Tom Waitsy, beautiful.
She lost some range.
Yeah, and that was the first time that I was like, oh, I hear her.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I might give you some homework.
Yeah.
After that. Okay, let's end with Emmylou Harris.
Oh, Emmylou Harris is a magical goddess.
That's right.
I got to open for her also for some shows that she was doing out west, and I don't know. It felt literally like meeting a goddess.
She is magical, and just there's a glow.
There's a glow.
It's not just the hair.
Yeah, no, there's a glow about her. I mean, she really holds herself beautifully, and I remember she sang this song that she wrote. I think it's called "The Road," and I mean, most people know her for her voice or the duets or everything, but I think she's one of the best writers in the world.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting to see somebody who just has such such an intensely gorgeous voice that hits first, for her to be known by that. But like she is magical on every level.
We love magic people.
Yeah, right? She's like a unicorn, I think.
Yeah. See, you did fine.
Thanks.
I mean, I could have given you Joan Baez or John Prine. I had all them instead of Joni.
John Prine. We just got to sing with him on the Kayama boat. He invited us to sing with him because he watched our movie and woke his wife Fiona up at 2 a.m. and was like, hey, you should watch this movie. It's really good. And then he invited us up on stage and was telling everybody how much he liked the movie. It was kind of, Joe and I both are huge Sean Prine fans. And as far as songwriters go, it doesn't get any better.
There you go.
So that was basically a dream come true that just happened this year.
That happens. And dreams do come true sometimes. Yeah. Stay in school. That's what I always say. Stay in school, study hard. Dreams come true.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get the first part of it.
You went to school. Went to a type of school. Sure. It counts.
Sure.
Second song. You're going to do Towns.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one that I wrote for the movie. It's in the trailer, and I wrote it actually after we finished filming the movie. And we were recording the soundtrack, and I finished it like literally the last minutes that we had in the studio, and we recorded it.
Under the wire.
Under the wire, exactly. So it's kind of just about our experiences on the road and how quickly you can connect with people through music, and also like how you can have a lot of heaviness in the world or personally, and music can kind of lift it.
It'll do it.
So. Another state line, another page. Day turns to night, turns into day. Arizona desert, Oklahoma plains. Follow the blue highways. Singing that Towns Van Zandt, passing another round, watching the stars above, sleeping on the same cold ground. The weight of my worried mind, a melody lifts away, and all of these folks I find in my heart, they'll stay. La-di-da-di-da, di-da-di-da, di-da-di-da. I traveled alone for so many days through sunshine and pouring rain. But since you've been around, these roads have all changed, and these songs sound new again. Singing that town's Van Zandt, passing another round, watching the stars above, sleeping on the same cold ground. The weight of my worried mind, the melody lifts away, and all of these folks I find in my heart, they'll stay. Singing that town's Van Zandt and passing another round, watching the stars above, sleeping on the same cold ground. The weight of my worried mind, the melody lifts away, and all of these folks I find in my heart, they'll stay.
Amber Rubarth with Towns off the American Folk soundtrack.
Thanks.
Beautiful. 2 beautiful songs today.
Thank you.
That was peppier than your normal thing.
A little up.
Got a little bit of a thing. A little bounce to it. Lovely. I'm so glad you were here.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It's a treat.
Your pleasure. More projects coming out this year? Probably,
yeah. I'm working on a new record.
With
Applewood, we actually today just released, well, I guess it's in the UK, but we just released, I guess it's kind of a re-release, but it's a 7-inch with 2 live tracks that we did at the Union Chapel in London.
Oh, okay.
2 arrangements that I did actually of Losing My Religion and of My Dear Companion.
Yeah, can we just talk about you getting posted by REM for your My Religion?
Another dream come true.
Yes, that was awesome.
That was exciting. I have no idea how they found it, but
who even cares?
YouTube video,
but it's such a cool version.
Oh, thank you.
Of a very cool song. Now I spilled my water.
Oh, good. We're even now. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're working on a new record.
Yeah, kind of slowly working on a new record. I have the concept in mind, but it's gonna take some time. Yeah, and then for Paper Raincoat, we're starting like pre-production on. We just finished our script, and we have like 12 new songs for this, and we're putting it as a theater. It's either going to be on stage theater production or filmed.
Okay.
But like a 1-act. So we have 1 person cast for it, I think, and we're working on all the others and starting to do that this summer.
Awesome.
I don't know what else.
It's going to be a busy year.
Yeah. Oh, and what day is it? May 11th. Joe Purdy and I, for the movie stuff, we're going to actually be back here. I don't think it's announced yet, but I think I can announce it.
I think you just did.
Well, we're going to be back here. I won't say what it is, but we're playing a show.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll see you then.
Somewhere.
Yeah. And let's see. Next week on Hangin' Sangin', we have Jerry Douglas.
Woo!
Right?
Yeah.
Check this out, though. April 6th, we're doing 2 shows because Mary Chapin Carpenter wants to be on.
Yes.
The word is out. So we're doing her and Caitlin Canty.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah. And then let's see. Parker Millsap on April 13th. Gretchen Peters, April 27th.
Dude.
Ashley Monroe coming up in May.
Rocking
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it's all good. You were here first.
Living the dream.
Yes. That's all we can do, really. Somebody's got to do it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kelly.
Always a pleasure to see you.
You too.
Until next week, over and out from the writers' rooms at the Hutton.